Alright, hello and welcome to Camel Finance. I'm your boy Camel, and I hope you all had a very nice Christmas. Hope you have enjoyed a couple of days off. I know I certainly did. Today I've just got a little bit of news, a couple of things I want to point out in terms of JP Morgan and some games that they like to play and I believe are playing currently. So I'm going to go over that, maybe look at one or two charts, but for me personally, until Wall Street returns to their desks after their Christmas period, then I'm not really too interested in the price action at the moment. So I want to start by saying I got silver here because I both gifted and received silver for Christmas. And I'm noticing that, first of all, there's the silver to equities ratio is breaking out of a massive downtrend that goes all the way back to 2010, 2011, as you can see here. It's possible that we could see silver outperform over the coming year, something I'll be looking for in 2023. Remember, buying silver is not spending money. Buying silver is simply converting money because silver is indeed money. Sticking with this theme of precious metals, Mark Cuban has defended Bitcoin and says anyone invested in gold is dumb as F. Now, I think this is kind of a disingenuous point. I think this is a silly thing to say, to be honest. I have said many times on the channel, I don't like tribalism. I don't believe it should be Bitcoin or gold. You can absolutely hold both, and I would think that that was probably the most prudent approach. Central banks, we have seen throughout 2022, have been accumulating record amounts of gold. So what do you think they're going to do? Throw it out and just decide that they don't need it anymore? I mean, they accumulate gold for a reason, okay? Not to mention, when we hop over to a couple of charts, again, I'm not going to do full TA or anything today, but looking at the dollar, you can see the dollar continues to be under pressure. The dollar continues to be weak. And at the same time, we have gold, for example, which continues to push upwards. It has apparently bucked its downtrend that it has been in for most of 2022. So this continues to look encouraging as far as I can tell. And the silver chart even more so. As you can see here, working our way back up to the top of this range. So I think to say that anyone holding this sort of thing is silly is itself silly. I think 2023 is going to be a very big year. I think we're going to find out one way or the other, aren't we? We're going to find out whether or not a melt up is possible, new all-time highs, and things are going to get very bullish very quickly. We're going to find out if new liquidity is going to be added or removed from the market. We're going to find out a lot. We are indeed going to find out whether or not Bitcoin is going to put in a left translated cycle top, meaning the peak comes in 2023. And we spend the remaining 3 years of the cycle in a downtrend. That would look something like this. It would be a big explosive move up through 2023, followed by 3 years of bear market decline, something that is completely the opposite to what we've had historically. We'll also get to find out whether or not that is going to become invalidated as my primary thesis, and we're going to switch to a standard 4-year cycle. Is this possible? Are we just going to do another repeat of the 4-year cycle where we go pretty much up for 3 years, having come down for 1? Is that on the cards? Or is Bitcoin just going to abandon its 4-year cycle altogether? I don't think there's very much chance of that happening. I think we will either get the left translated or the right translated cycle. My money is on this at the moment, but of course, we will know if this is invalidated pretty early on. If we get to Q1 and we still haven't put in any major bullish upside for Bitcoin, then we can pretty much scratch this one off. So that's fine. But I also feel like this would be the path of max pain, as everybody, especially the new people, will look to a 4-year cycle repeat, just like we've seen historically. So 2023 is going to be big for Bitcoin. It's going to be big for the markets, because if the stock market, for example, can't get going along with Bitcoin, doesn't give us an opportunity to exit out higher, then of course what's going to happen is we're going to continue down. And if we continue down, things are going to get very, very depression-like very, very quickly. So 2023 is going to be a massive, massive year. It's not about being right or wrong with your expectations or your primary thesis. It's much more about how we protect capital and how we can make money in the process. So that's what my focus is going to be on. I'm going to be putting out a 2023 prediction list, because I thought that'd be a funny idea. I'll put out a bunch of predictions for 2023, maybe get people to put their own down in the comments, and then we can come back at the end of 2023 and see how many of them were egregiously erroneous. One thing I do know, Bitcoin continues to do Bitcoin things. The fundamentals continue to be improved on every day, and adoption continues to snowball. And schools in El Salvador are teaching students about Bitcoin and the future of money. I'm not going to play you this full clip, but you can see here, you have a teacher with a bunch of kids in the class, and they are being instructed for how to send and receive via Lightning using their QR codes in their smartphones. So I love to see this. I'm sure this is a trend that will continue as we progress through 2023. Legendary investor Bill Miller is becoming more and more outspoken on Bitcoin, and he recently said, you should do quite well in Bitcoin if you have a long-term horizon. For me, a long-term horizon for Bitcoin would be 1 to 3 years, something like that. I personally wouldn't want to be holding beyond that. I think for me, especially as a trader, I'm going to be looking to exit a large amount of my position near the top of the cycle. Whether that is in 2023 or whether that comes in 2025 remains to be seen. But the most money and the way to capitalize on these cycles is, especially because they go through boom bust cycles, it's good to exit near the top and attempt to buy back near the bottom. That remains to be seen, of course. JP Morgan are playing a game that I've seen before, and likely you've seen this game before as well if you've been in the space for a little while. Okay, so JP Morgan are currently saying that crypto is effectively non-existent as an asset class for most of their large investors. At the same time, JP Morgan are also putting out things like this. Institutions are not interested in crypto. You may already know where I'm going with this if you've been in the space for a while. I'm going to play you this clip here, and it speaks for itself.
On September 12th, Jamie Dimon says Bitcoin is a fraud. He says he'll fire any one of his traders buying Bitcoin. Bitcoin drops 24%. When Jamie Dimon speaks, people listen. So that weekend, we found out that the largest buyer of a Bitcoin fund that's in Europe that buys physical Bitcoin, right? The largest buyer was Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan. And that's not illegal.
So there you have it. That's how the game is played. If you want to go and watch that full clip, it's on YouTube. Just type in the Great Cryptocurrency Conspiracy and you'll see it. But the point is, I've seen this game before at the bottom of the bear market in 2018, and now this same game is being recycled. So they come out and they say that no one's interested, like it's not even existent as an asset class, and there's no doubt in my mind that behind the scenes they will be accumulating as they say this. As they scare retail into selling their Bitcoin over to them at discounted prices, they will be happy to accept it, ready for the next bull run. There's still a massive potential for a short squeeze, as there are record levels betting on more downside in the stock market. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. We currently have a failed daily cycle as far as I can tell. Again, I'm not going to go super into the charts, but there's some conflicting things going on at the moment. First of all, the futures are green at the moment, so that is what it is. But more importantly, I'm a structure guy. This is how I trade. I trade structure on a daily chart. And I'm not going to do too much TA. I just wanted to show you a couple of hints, a couple of things that are suggesting potentially there's some upside. However, like I said before, I'm not really trading anything at the moment. I'm just kind of waiting for the liquidity to return, waiting for the Wall Street traders to get back to their desks in the new year. But the reason I've started by pulling up a FTSE 100 chart, first of all, if you look at this blue line, okay, breakout, retest with a trap, followed by a swift recovery and potentially a resumption. And then within this, you've got this purple line here. Is this not breakout, retest, and working on the resumption from this purple line here? So to me, this could indeed be a long, as with the stop below these lows here, something like this, targeting the open space above. This is certainly a potential. Looking at the Dow as well, massive downtrend. Look, breakout, retest, resumption, second retest with a trap, swift recovery, and now the futures are up another 200 points. So is this going to resume? I remember before I broke up for the Christmas holiday, I pointed at this trade and said, whilst I took the profit off the S&P and the NASDAQ, I was going to leave this open. And this is the exact reason. I'm not a moving averages guy particularly, but if you put some moving averages on underneath here, there is a golden cross just around here as well. So this is not true breakdown just yet for the Dow. The FTSE 100 also telling us to be open to more upside. Of course, the story is slightly different in the NASDAQ and the S&P. We do have a failed cycle right here. So that would tell us to be open to more downside over the coming weeks. That, of course, remains to be seen. The last chart I want to go into is Bitcoin, and I'm just briefly going to touch on this. So I would think by now we are very close to this January 6th cycle low, plus or minus 6 days. To me, it seems nigh on certain that we are going to drop down into a cycle low. How low that cycle low forms is anybody's guess, but I would think there's almost no chance that we come up and make a higher high for this cycle at the moment. Therefore, what I'm looking for in the new year around January 6th is to find a swing low and to long Bitcoin from there. We should be able to get quite a nice tight stop. We'll see how that works out. So that's the plan, at least for now. Like I said, I bet it comes out later on that JP Morgan have been buying a whole heap of Bitcoin down at these levels. I continue to buy gold, even if certain people think it's a dumb idea. I'm looking forward to 2023. It's going to be a big year because I think I said this earlier. We're either going to be going down a lot and therefore things are going to get very interesting very quickly, or there's always the chance that we're going to get very bullish and trap and burn all of these shorts first, and then we can proceed downwards. So we'll see how that goes. as usual, not really predicting anything, just simply open to all outcomes and trying to trade the structure in front of me. I'll do my best to put more content out as soon as possible, but I also want to enjoy this holiday period, because once I come back in about the first or the second week of January, then I'm going to be hard at work every single day for the rest of the year. So I'm going to enjoy a couple more days off. I'll do what I can to put some more content out. Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy New Year. Thank you for all the support on the channel, and I'll see you again soon. In the meantime, take care from me. All the best. Cheers. Bye.